It's time for another Mego video. You, our loyal subscribers, have demanded it. Our Mego videos are some of our biggest videos on here on YouTube. If you haven't watched our other ones, check them out. It has been a long time since we did our last Mego video in which we compared Mego and Figure Toy Company. In this episode, we look at the growing history of Mego and then focused on the last wave of DC's World's Greatest Heroes, which possibly could be the best Mego wave ever done.
They look good.
In the whole entire line.
They look really good.
The Mego name became synonymous with action figures all the way back in the early 1970s. If you were a kid, you most likely had at least one Mego figure. I had many more than one. Mego came back in early 2000, returning based on nostalgia of the same 1970s kids. That's us. I think that their most recent wave of DC figures might be the best done. The sculpting is fantastic. We'll explore each of the figures and their amazing detail. But first, let's look at the history of Mego.
Mego was founded in 1954. That's right, a whole 70 years ago, by David and Helen Abrams in Brooklyn, New York. Yep, Brooklyn. Not too far, just across the bridge. Yeah. Initially, they produced all kinds of toys and novelties, but by the early 1970s, they hit it big time with their 8-inch action figures. This was a game changer in the toy industry, because previously you had the 12-inch figures,
right,
and Mego 8-inch brought the cost down. And not only that, but grabbed a whole bunch of characters that hadn't been produced as action figures.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? So Mego's golden age begins in 1974, when they introduced figures based on popular franchises like Star Trek and both Marvel and DC Comics. Their innovative use of cloth costumes gave these figures unique appeal, making them stand out from the plastic counterparts of the time. They had such playability. Think about what kids could do. Spider-Man could fight Klingons. The Joker could team up with the Fonz. Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't have Spider-Man team up with the Fonz?
I didn't have a lot of Mego figures as a kid. Yeah.
I had a lot.
So throughout the 1970s, their license rights grew. They gained TV shows, movies, and even more superhero characters.
No Flash, though.
Right. However, this unmatched success would not last because of two big issues. First and foremost, Mego passed on the license for the Star Wars figures. And second, the 1970s oil crisis had created an inflation in the price of plastics, which made it impractical to continue creating 8-inch figures. The entire industry shifted over to the 3 3/4 figures, like Kenner's Star Wars figures. By the early 1980s, Mego was struggling to keep up with new industry leaders like Hasbro and Mattel, and of course, the juggernaut that Kenner had become because of Star Wars. In 1982, the company finally filed for bankruptcy, and it marked the end of an era. Mego never fully went away, though. Other companies made Mego-like figures over the years to varying success. Then, in the early 2000s, Mego made a surprising comeback. Capitalizing on nostalgia, they began reissuing classic figures and introducing new lines appealing to both collectors and new fans. We finally got Flash and Green Lantern figures, which were missing from the original line.
Now let's talk about the most recent line of DC figures, the 50th anniversary figures. Mego initially launched the collection with some iconic characters like Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. These figures stay true to the Mego classic 8-figure form, combining nostalgic design with modern quality. What makes these new figures special? For one, they capture the essence of the original Mego style while incorporating updated features. The vibrant colors and attention to detail have resonated well with collectors, making these figures hot items at conventions and online. The newest wave of DC figures is definitely the best so far. The sculpt details are fantastic. Facial features are unmatched in previous waves.
I gotta say, I can't get over how good those sculpts on the faces are.
Me neither. I'm amazed at the leap they took from the first couple of waves to this wave. It's unmatched. For most of the characters included in this is the first time in Mego figure form, and most of these are not the most popular characters over at DC. Let's look at each one. Wave 3 consists of 8 new figures. None of them have ever been included in the Mego line before. They include Red Tornado, Firestorm, Dr. Fate, Nightwing, Twoface, Bizarro, Superman, Brainiac, and Deadman. Let's look at each one individually.
Absolutely.
First up, Red Tornado. Red Tornado was created by Gardner Fox and artist Dick Dillon, and first appeared in the Justice League of America 64 in 1968. Red Tornado's real name is Ulthune. He is an android that was created by the supervillain T.O. Morrow. Get it?
I get it.
Ulthune was originally created to be a weapon, but once he gained sentience, he rebelled against his evil creator and decided to use his powers for good. Red Tornado became a prominent member of the Justice League of America. He has also been a member of the Justice Society of America and Young Justice. Red Tornado's powers and abilities include the ability to generate powerful winds, create tornadoes and whirlwinds, and fly. He also possesses the ability to manipulate air currents to create protective shields or attack his enemies. As an android, he has enhanced strength, durability, and speed. Additionally, Red Tornado has a unique ability to detach his body parts and remotely control them, allowing him to perform tasks from a distance.
Up next, Firestorm. Firestorm was created by Jerry Conway and Al Milgrom and first appeared in Firestorm the Nuclear Man #1 in 1978, right before the DC implosion.
Right.
He played a big role on the revised Super Friends cartoon, and if Mego would have remained into the early 1980s, he would have definitely had a figure as part of the original line. Firestorm is actually a fusion of two individuals. One, Ronnie Raymond, a high school student, and Professor Martin Stein, a nuclear physicist. When an accident occurred in a nuclear power plant, the two were caught in the blast, and their molecules were merged together. This resulted in the creation of Firestorm, a being with the ability to manipulate and transmute matter at will. Firestorm possesses a variety of powers, including the ability to fly, generate and project bursts of nuclear energy, create force fields, and rearrange atoms to change the substance and properties of objects. He's also capable of absorbing radiation, rendering him immune to most forms of harm, and making him an exceptional powerhouse in battle. Firestorm has been a member of the Justice League and the Justice Society of America. Along with appearing on the Super Friends cartoon, Firestorm has also appeared in the live-action series The Flash and Legends of Tomorrow.
Dr. Fate was created by writer Gardner Fox again and artist Howard Sherman, and first appeared in More Fun Comics number 55 in 1940. He is an old character. He has been around a long time and has had many different alter egos throughout his time in comics, the most popular being Kent Nelson. Kent discovered the helmet of Naboo while on an archaeologist expedition in Egypt.
Nice.
By wearing the helmet of Naboo, Kent Nelson becomes Dr. Fate, a powerful sorcerer and defender of humanity. Dr. Fate possesses incredible magical abilities, including telepathy, telekinesis, flight, and the ability to cast spells. Dr. Fate's costume consists of a golden helmet, a blue robe with golden accents, and a mysterious amulet. He has long been a member of the Justice Society of America. On a side note, I actually bought a custom-made Dr. Fate many years ago because I never thought the figure would come out. So when this figure came out, I was very happy.
Up next, actually one of my favorite DC Comics characters, Nightwing. I always liked Nightwing. I always liked Dick Grayson as a character.
Okay.
Yeah. This is a big one for Mego collectors, by the way. Nightwing is a very popular superhero in DC Comics universe. The character was created by writer Marv Wolfman and artist George Perez. Nightwing is the alter ego of Dick Grayson, who was the original Robin and the very first sidekick to Batman, the first member of the Bat family.
That's right.
As Dick Grayson, he wanted to break away from Batman and go out on his own, so he recreated the Teen Titans and changed his superhero persona to Nightwing. Do you know where the name Nightwing came from?
I do.
I don't. Where was it?
It's from a character that was from Krypton that has actually been shrunk by Brainiac.
Oh, so he's in the Bottle City?
Yeah, he's in the Bottle City. Nightwing was a superhero on Krypton.
And so Dick Grayson took his name?
That is correct.
Oh, that's neat. I actually didn't know that.
Look at all the things you learn.
Considering that I really like Nightwing as a character, I had no idea.
Look at everything you learn on the show. And if you become a member, you will learn a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
Membership has its privileges, so please, if you can, become a member. There's many different levels. Every dollar will help us continue to run this show. Let's continue. Next up is the villains. Two-Face starts us off.
Awesome.
Two-Face is also known as Harvey Dent. He first appeared in Detective Comics number 66 in 1942 and is one of Batman's most iconic and enduring adversaries. He seems to never get the respect he deserves, though. Never appeared on Batman 66 or in anything outside of comic books until the Batman movies of the 1990s.
Yeah, that's right.
Harvey Dent started as Gotham City's district attorney and as a close friend of Bruce Wayne. After being disfigured by criminal boss Sal Maroni, Dent created the alter ego Two-Face. This alter ego reflects Dent's dual nature, representing the struggle between his good and evil sides. This is probably one of the best sculpts they've done so far. Look at how great the face looks on both sides. Like Two-Face, that Bizarro sculpt is fantastic.
The facial sculpt is amazing
fantastic
on that one. Yeah. So Bizarro is one of Superman's greatest villains. He first appeared in the comic book title Superboy number 68 in October of 1958. Bizarro is considered to be the opposite version of Superman and sort of imperfect duplicate of the Man of Steel. Bizarro is most often portrayed as a failed clone of Superman, but there have been some instances where he comes from an alternate Krypton-like world filled with Bizarro versions of everyone else, from Batman to Wonder Woman to all the other DC Comics characters. One of Bizarro's most defining characteristics is his reversed speech and logic. He often speaks in a broken, distorted manner using phrases like "me am Bizarro." Bizarro is not always portrayed as a villain. Sometimes he tries to help, but his flawed logic always seems to either get in the way or cause someone to manipulate him.
For the rest of the show, Brian is going to speak in Bizarro language.
Good luck. We'll never finish this video.
Here is a closer look at the Bizarro face sculpt. We believe that it may be the best face sculpt of any Mego figure ever done. So if you're going to buy any one figure, buy the Bizarro one. The sculpt is just absolutely phenomenal. It's the perfect one. Another Superman villain is up next. Brainiac. I am surprised that Brainiac was not a part of the original Mego line, which I think he should have been. Another major Superman villain, Brainiac, was created by Otto Binder and Al Plastino and first appeared in Action Comics 242 way back in 1958. Brainiac is considered by many to be Superman's greatest adversary. Brainiac is an extraterrestrial android with an advanced intelligence and an immense knowledge. As you can see, many of Superman's villains are highly intellectual, the old brain versus brawn adage. Brainiac is often depicted with green skin and cybernetic enhancements and seen riding around on a high-tech spacecraft known as the Skull. Brainiac often kidnaps entire cities in order to try to preserve the knowledge of many different worlds. He has appeared in many different animated and live-action series outside of the DC Comics universe, but has yet to appear in a big-budget movie. The Spider replaced him. Makes sense, doesn't it?
I do not understand how Brainiac has not shown up in a Superman movie. He's easily one of the most intimidating villains in the DC universe.
Supposed to, right?
Yeah, I know. He was supposed to be Superman 3.
Superman 3.
But he's terrifying. He's a terrifying character.
A terrifying character.
Yeah, and I don't know why they haven't used him better.
And he was actually supposed to be the villain in the Nicolas Cage version until they came up with the Spider, and obviously the movie never got made. So.
That's so weird.
That's 7. There's only one more left. What's the last character gonna be?
Last, certainly not least, is another character.
Did we save the best for last?
Is another character that I've loved for a long time. You know how I like the sort of horror-oriented DC characters?
I do.
Well, take a look at Deadman. Deadman this is just a great figure. Deadman, also known as Boston Brand, was created by writer Arnold Drake and artist Carmine Infantino. He made his first appearance in Strange Adventures number 205 in October of 1967. Deadman is one of the strangest DC heroes. Deadman's origin story revolves around being a trapeze artist named Boston Brand. One night, he's murdered during his performance in his circus act. However, instead of passing into the afterlife, his spirit is granted the ability to possess the bodies of the living. Deadman is basically a ghost. Definitely one of the coolest Mego figures ever made, with his iconic costume consisting of a red and white bodysuit with the distinctive large D symbol on the chest.
Did you know that in Flashpoint, who Deadman is?
No. It's Dick Grayson?
Dick Nightwing.
You know, I read Flashpoint, but I still, for some reason, lose the details when I think about it. Yeah. That's a cool idea. Because he's a trapeze artist, too.
That's exactly.
So, yeah, they would connect it. They go well together.
So there it is. The figures are fantastic, and each wave of Mego's DC line seems to be getting better and better. Mego's Wave 5 was revealed in August, and it will consist of 8 more figures, which we will review when they become available. They are Classic Batman, Hawkman, Martian Manhunter, Cyborg, Lex Luthor, Sinestro, the Demon Etrigan, and the Spectre.
Oh, that's a cool idea, Spectre.
Right. Oh, looks great too.
Yeah.
So which DC characters would you like to see in future waves? I would like to see Solomon Grundy and the Trickster.
Oh, yeah.
That's me personally. Mego's journey from a small toy company to a beloved brand is a testament to the power of nostalgia and innovation. The recent DC wave is just another chapter in their storied history, proving that Mego still has a place in the hearts of fans today.
You know, I would like to see a Swamp Thing one, too.
That's a good one. They did one, Figure Toy Company did one.
Did they?
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, become a member. Leave a comment if you like our Mego videos. We'll do more of these. Love what you collect.
Collect what you love.
We'll see you next time.
Hello.